Ugh. Toothpaste. Drinking tea does not go together. What's up, guys? This is Luke from soberfromdespair.com. It's been a long time since I've done a video blog, like 2 or 3 weeks maybe, and I want to apologize for that. I've been doing a lot of stuff lately, one of which was I quit taking my ADD medication for a couple weeks there. I always like going off of it after I go on it for a few months, which is stupid because I like the way I feel when I'm off of it. I don't want to be on it the rest of my life, but then I'm trying to start this and all of a sudden I'm not doing everything I could be doing to do video blogs and stuff. I just get really impulsive and not very focused on things. So I apologize. Things I've been up to lately concerning the website is I've been trying to figure out a way to get the audio really good. I was researching stuff on videos and stuff, and even though it was a Sennheiser microphone type advertisement, it was saying that having really good audio makes all the difference in the world in a movie. Like, people will watch a video the same image quality with two different types of audio, one being really poor audio and the other one being really good audio. And even though the image quality is the same in both videos, the one with the poor audio, people would start talking about how bad the audio or about how bad the video quality was in it. When the audio was really good, they talk about how good the images were, which is kind of funny. So with that being taken into account, I've been trying to figure out a way to get good audio, and I have like a little recording studio in my room, and so I figured out a green screen, which I'm in my room right now, and I'm using a microphone for recording music on my computer until I get some money squared away to where I can go outside in the wilderness like I talked about and film videos outside, but still have decent audio quality, such as this right here. Anyways, I've also been, I found a guy that is hopefully going to rewrite everything on my website for me, using the same ideas and stuff that I have, but rewrite it in a professional type way that'll bring me into a wider audience online using keywords that people use for search engines and stuff, and that'll bring up my rating on Google and Bing and everything a lot better. So I've been trying to get all those things figured out so that when I am doing all these video blogs, a lot more people are seeing them. But I'm kind of beating myself up because I'm not doing the video blogs and things that I really could be doing and I should be doing, because these are things that I said I'd be doing. So let's get to the video blog though. The video blog that I had recorded a bunch of times, was never happy with it, and now we'll see if I'm happy with it. Whether or not I am, I'm just going to put this out there because I just need more and more content out there. It's about boundaries, and it's my current insight on how to get what you want out of being sober to prevent you from relapsing. For me, this is a concept that I just came up with very recently, like as in a couple of months ago. And I don't know why I didn't think about it before, because it seems very, very basic, but it seems like something that if I would have thought about a long time ago, I could have had a lot better times with being sober and done a lot more things to be further along with being sober. And I'd be a lot more progressed right now than where I was. Where I am right now, I'd be a lot more progressed if I reached this insight. Excuse me. So, insight is, when I first got sober, I had certain expectations of what it was to be sober, what things I could be doing if I was sober that I couldn't be doing if I was using all the time, things that using was preventing me from doing. And most of them were feelings, I guess. With being high, I never felt feelings. I always felt high, and I mistook being high as being happy, because that was the best feeling I could get out of doing the things that I was doing at the time, which was doing drugs, lying to my family, stealing money, stealing my drugs from my family, um, dropping out of school, lying at school, cheating at school, calling in sick to work, doing all these crazy, stupid ass things that were making me feel like shit. But then I would get high and I would feel good because being high feels good. And I thought that was being happy. So being happy was one thing that I thought I could get, that I could achieve out of being sober. And I had different ideas of things that would make me be happy. I thought that if I could do what I really wanted to do in life, that would make me happy. If I could have better relationships with my friends and family, that could make me happy. Um, all these different things. I didn't think that I would feel guilty anymore because I wouldn't be lying anymore. Um, all this stuff. And I came to the insight that being happy is an emotion that comes from within. It doesn't come from external things. Um, I thought that when I was using, I would think that material things would make me happy. If I got something new, it would make me happy, like some new clothes or something. But those new clothes and stuff, like they can make you feel good, but they aren't the things that make me feel happy. So, since being happy was one of the highest things on my list of what I wanted from being sober, a couple months ago I realized that I need to do what I want to do to be fulfilled from within and achieve that happiness from within and maintain that happiness from within. So that led me to the idea of boundaries and how to set up boundaries around my world, that I can't control everything in my world at all. Can't control most of the things in my world. However, it's kind of paradoxical because I can control most of the things in my world. My parents just got divorced and stuff, and I had to set boundaries around them to maintain the expectations I had of being sober. Like if somebody was being negative about the other family member because of the things that the other family member did to them, I would have to set up boundaries and say, like, I'm not participating in that because that negativity is going to take away from my happiness. It's going to take away from what I'm expecting out of being sober. And if I start entertaining the ideas of somebody else being a bad person, then that's going to take away from my expectation of being closer with my family. That was a big thing that I wanted with being sober, because I wasn't there when I was using. I was high, and I was lying to maintain being high. So I had to set boundaries in place there. Another boundary I had to set in place was recently I dropped out of school, even though I was less than 20 credits from graduating with a degree in anthropology. I was doing okay in school. Like, I wasn't failing. I was doing better than I was when I was using, that's for sure. And I was able to finally write and do all these crazy things, make 97% on essays, which I've never been a good writer. I was able to do all this shit, but I was going towards a degree in something that I didn't want to be doing. And if I'm going to be sober, I realized I need to do what I want to do. And even though I'm sitting in my room right now at my mom's house, 23 years old, still living with my mom, and I make money by serving tables at a restaurant, I am starting Sober from Despair, and this is what I want to do. So I put boundaries in place saying, why go to school for something that I don't want to do, for a piece of paper that isn't going to get me closer towards doing what I want to do, which is Sober from Despair, and creating a place where I could connect with other addicts and get better at being sober every day and send people to rehab, which would be, to me, that would be like Michael Jordan dreaming of the NBA when he was a little kid. Like, that would be incredible to help a bunch of people out. So the boundaries I set in place was I'm not going to school anymore. And I dropped out. And even though family members, friends, co-workers, relatives, what have you, everybody's like, what are you doing? I would have to set boundaries in place when I talk with them about stuff. Like, their negativity wasn't helping my happiness from within. My happiness came from taking action towards this. My happiness is coming from doing what I want to do, even though it's starting out small, even though I'm paying way more money than I thought I would be. It's taken way more time than I thought it would be. It's not happening overnight at all. Doing the process is making me happy. And so when people are coming at me negatively with their own ideas, I got to be like, okay, like, that's just not the way I'm going to do things. Like, that's cool if you agree, it's cool if you don't agree, but this is for me. And I started looking at doing this, like, being sober for me. Like, being sober is for me. And if it's not for me, that's when I'll relapse because of some external circumstance. So I have to set boundaries between me and external things to maintain being sober. I go out to nightclubs a lot. When I first started being sober, like even before I went into rehab, I thought this is going to be something that I'm going to do. I'm going to be able to do things that I couldn't do when I was on drugs. And I'm going to be able to do everything I could do when I was on drugs. So there's certain things that drugs help me do. Like, they help me get out of my head when I'm in social situations. So after about a year of being sober, I decided to start going to nightclubs, to start talking to random girls and trying to pick them up, to start making new friends and doing different things and trying a bunch of things. And even though these things that I do and places I go might not be most conducive towards being sober because they are easier for me to relapse in, like going to a nightclub where there's alcohol and I love to drink and stuff, I end up having to set boundaries and get good with the boundaries. And when I meet somebody new, first thing I do is I tell them about me if I think that there's potential for there to be any sort of relationship there. And what I've noticed, like at bars and stuff, like before my first attempt trying to get sober, I would tell people, oh, I can't drink tonight because I'm DDing, or I can't because I have a UA, or I can't smoke weed because I have a UA. I would put all of my being sober on external circumstances. I'd say all these external things, which are the reasons why I can't drink. And once I started taking ownership of that, once I started realizing being happy and being sober is all about the emotions coming from within, positive emotions from within, I started telling people I don't drink and this is why I don't drink. Or I would take total ownership for my sobriety, take total ownership for how long I've been sober, take total ownership for the fact that I'm an addict and an alcoholic and I can't do any drinking or anything because I'm fucked if I do. My life is back where it was, if not worse, which none of that is a good place for me to be. I don't want to do that. And the thing that I realize is people start to respect you a whole lot more. People with boundaries, with strong boundaries, are respected because they demand respect. And if you don't set a boundary with somebody, they'll treat you however they want. Without boundaries, people treat us just however they want. People that have boundaries are the ones that dictate how others treat them. And so when I go to nightclubs or something or anywhere and I take full ownership for what I'm doing, my reasonings for being there and my reasonings for not drinking or whatever, people start respecting that more because I put that boundary, and if they disrespect it, then the boundary is saying that there's going to be some sort of repercussion. And most of the time, I'll cut that out of my life. That's something that has had to happen with friendships. Recently, like over Halloween, I had a friend that I'd go out a lot with to nightclubs and everything. He was trying to do the same thing I was. He couldn't drink because he got in trouble with a DUI and stuff. And Halloween, he ended up going out and he was in terrible place, terrible mood, and ended up drinking and being a fucking asshole. And I was cool with him, like, because I don't want any negativity. That's a big thing for me with being sober. So I wasn't going to treat him negatively. I drove him home because he doesn't have a license or anything. And then I made the decision that even though I still consider him a good friend and he has a lot of cool attributes and everything, he's not somebody that I need in my life. So I just decided I'm just not going to answer the phone or do anything and to get a hold of him, and he'd get the point. And after a few times of him calling me, and well, not even calling me, actually texting me, but he got the point. And I went out recently and seen him downtown, and he's drinking, and he was really cool towards me. He saw me, I saw him, and he didn't come up to me, I didn't come up to him. Like, I had already set that boundary, and he wasn't going to mess with it because I had the boundary set in place. So to me, boundaries are something that are huge, and it would be a really beneficial thing for everybody that's trying to be sober to do this. This is something I've recently done, and I continue to look at it daily, continue to remind myself of it daily, is to figure out what it is that we each want out of being sober, what the benefits are of being sober, figure out what our expectations are and our dreams of what we want out of life. Because, I mean, you could hear it 10 million times anywhere else, in rehab and wherever you're at, AA meeting, NA, whatever. And they talk about jail, institutions, or death are the only places that using gets you. Well, that to me isn't living. And I never went to jails, institutions, or death. I went to rehab, I guess, which is an institution type thing, but I wasn't in trouble for anything. I just went there. But anyways, that to me was the worst form of death, is having all the potential in the world to do everything that I can do, that I want to do, and something like using holding me back from it. That's an institution in itself, and that's death in itself, because it's definitely not living. It's not feeling or anything. So picking what you want out of life, picking the emotions, the highest dreams, expectations, aspirations, everything you have out of being sober, figuring out what those are, and then putting boundaries in place with yourself and with people surrounding you to make sure that that is met. Because to me, the ultimate boundary I have is, if being sober doesn't work out, I'm going to use. I'm an addict, so my ultimate boundary with that is, well, this isn't working out, so fuck it. Might as well just get high and say to hell with everything. And I got to put boundaries in place so that that boundary I don't cross with myself. So yeah, if you get time and you think this is a good idea, I think it's an awesome idea, and I really wish I would have done it in the beginning, is identify all the positive things, everything you can think of about what you want out of being sober. Figure out all the things that you couldn't do when you were using. And those are mostly the things that you'll be able to do with being sober. Write them down, memorize them, have them in your prefrontal cortex every day, so that every action you take, even if it's a shitty day, even if your family's getting divorced, even if your world's coming to an end, you're getting fired from your job, something, whatever it is, all these things that could make people use, have these in the front of your brain. Have these memorized and keep looking at them. And then you could put boundaries in place when the external things come into play and things don't go the way you want them to go, you could be like, okay, I can't change that, but I'm putting this boundary in place to change it towards my benefit so I can grow from it and do what I want to do. So, yeah, hope you somewhat enjoyed this video blog. And again, if you're on this website, thank you. And I'm going to sign off right now. All right, deuces.